Maybe you feel like this is what we did last. Okay, good. I'm doing good. We've talked a little bit. I've been busy. I think we both know how that goes, right? But yeah, but doing good, doing good. Lots of self-care, so can't complain. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going good. So I've focused everything on like meditation and well, I guess you can still call it holistic, but basically what I try to do is I'll work with people I've been finding within my age group, so a little over 30, between like 30 and 60. Been finding a lot of people within that age group are coming to me for this, what I like to call instinctive meditation. So basically what it is I like teach you how to find your own way to meditate, because to me meditation is different and it comes in different forms for each person. And for me, luckily for me, I was in the behavioral background, so I kind of get to do this like therapy slash like meditation session with people. You know what I mean? Like if they're coming to me for, let's just say, for example, I really need to quit smoking, right? Like I really need to get rid of this habit.
Right.
So then we just find a way. I don't necessarily like help you quit smoking. Like I don't want to say that. But I still help you find healthy ways to kind of like go back and be like, okay, where did this behavior even start? Right. And then just kind of do that and then get into the meditation, because it's more so like, okay, we need to figure out what the problem is first. Right. And then kind of do some more self care, which is
You know,
meditation.
that's really interesting. Real quick,
Hmm.
David's joining in, saying, What's up, everybody? Good to see you, David. I
Hey.
hope you can hear me now. I think I fixed my mic. I'm getting the register. I don't know what happened, but that's really interesting because my mom, when back in 2012, she was going through this, going through a lot of life changes, to say it the
Yeah.
easiest,
Mhm.
and so it caused her to have basically a breakdown, and you know. Uh, it was as though that smoking cigarettes was like the only like peace of mind that she could get. And so when
Yeah.
she went to the psychiatrist, or the I don't remember who it was. Mom, if you're in chat, correct me. But basically, they told her, if that is your saving grace right now, like, don't worry about it. Like,
Yeah.
keep doing
Right.
it. Like, too
Hmm.
many people try to quit cold turkey, and
Yeah.
it doesn't work out for them.
Yep.
Actually, I was watching another video on YouTube, surprisingly, and the video was about a guy who is trying to help people quit smoking, and he pretty much takes the same approach that you took.
Oh, cool.
He takes I think his success rate is pretty high.
Hmm.
But basically what he says is like, look, I'm not going to tell you to stop smoking. Like, you and I both know you don't really smoke or you don't want to stop smoking for the reasons that you want to stop smoking. So what I want you to
Right.
do is I want you to keep those cigarettes. It's like an issue of control. Like, keep those cigarettes there, and uh, basically you're going to try and um, list. I don't remember exactly what it was, but he basically said, list out the reasons why, you make it solid why you want to quit smoking, and
Yeah.
then you can kind of get to the root of it. So that's really
Hmm.
interesting that you do that.
Yeah. And it's always something different. You know what I mean? Sometimes people, unfortunately, if they're grieving from a loss in their family, and, or if they're going through a bad divorce, or, there's so many things that people, we all, like, my thing is too, is like we all have something, you know what I mean? We
Right.
all have something that we had to get through, whether it's big or small. So that's kind of like my approach to it. Like I don't judge you whether it's big or a small problem. It could be something so simple as like, like I don't know, something to do with like my makeup or something like that. You know what I mean? Like I want to get better, not makeup. I didn't mean to say that, but like just taking better like self-care of your face. You know what I mean? Like I just want to be better at taking better care of myself,
Of
right? Like
course.
something as simple like, I mean, I know that that's basic, but I'm saying hygiene. Like sometimes people don't have that basic hygiene, as surprisingly, surprising as it is. That's just some things that people approach me about. So yeah, so I just wanted to say that. And then also, like I'm very individualistic as well. I think I've told you this probably multiple times with my work. Like um, I like to take every single person in a different way. So like I don't have the same approach, for every person. So
Yeah, it's like
somebody,
a individualized plan.
yeah, yep, exactly. And I was just going to say that's exactly where I kind of got that from, because in the behavioral world, when I was there before, it was all about treatment plans and writing this plan up. So instead of making it more like structured, I just kind of pick it from here, pick it from there, and then, put it together for that specific person.
That's smart.
So, mhm.
Because I think why I'm so hung up on the smoking thing is because recently, well, that CBD oil that you sent me
Yeah.
was fantastic. By the way,
Was it?
yeah, it's fantastic. I loved
Oh,
it.
that's so good to
Honestly,
hear.
honestly, it prompted me to get more. So,
Did you got more?
well, I got Charlotte's Web CBD.
Oh
So
yeah,
I
that's
did a
good
little bit
stuff.
more research, and
Mhm.
I was like, all right, what's the best bang for your buck?
No, yeah,
What's
I actually had that left over, and I was just like, I don't even use this because I have my own stuff.
hmm
But I was like, maybe he'll try it, maybe he won't, and I'm so happy you liked it.
No,
That's
I
so
honestly, yeah,
great.
like I said, it prompted me to get the Charlotte's Web stuff because the Charlotte's Web is like top tier CBD
Fantastic.
oil.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
the reason I guess why I'm so hung up on the smoking aspect is because it helped me kind of wean off of vaping. I was a huge vapor, man. I loved vaping. I loved that nicotine
Yeah.
stuff. Oh.
I mean, it's nicotine. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's nicotine, and then you just have that habit of I get it. I totally get it. I used to be a smoker, so I get it.
There's just something about the CBD oil though. For
Mhm.
for me, I don't have as many urges when I take the
Yeah.
CBD oil. And I
Mhm.
don't know if it's something in the compound, maybe it's relaxing me. I don't know if it's actually
Definitely.
from the CBD or if it's placebo. But whatever it is, man, I let it work.
Right, right. Are you do you take it every day? Like have you been taking it every day, or do you take it like every other day, or have you been
I
doing
mean, I've
it?
been taking it every day. Plus,
No, that's good. That's good. Cuz sometimes people don't even have to take it every day and it works great for them. So, I was just curious.
well, I know that you have to take it for at least 2 weeks.
Yep. Mhm, to know. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for it to actually start to take effect. And so I made sure I did some research. I made sure I got like I think it's the full spec. I didn't know the difference between full spectrum and broad spectrum.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah,
Mhm.
I had to do a little bit more research on that. Turns out one has small amounts of THC,
Right, right.
full spectrum. The other
Yeah.
broad spectrum has no
No
THC at
THC.
all.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I used to be like MLM with that company, like, you know what I mean? That company is an MLM program or whatever. I don't know what you actually call that. But I worked with them, and that was like a big thing that people always asked was what's the difference between full and broad spectrum? That was like always the number one question. So I'm actually glad you said that, because a lot of people don't know that. So
I had no idea either until I was like,
mhm.
I want to get the best one.
Yeah, right. Top notch.
Yes, I want
Right.
to. If I'm
Yes.
paying as much as oh my gosh, as much as I
Oh,
paid for
it's
it,
expensive. It's expensive. Mhm.
oh man, I wanted to make sure whatever I got was gonna work. And
Yeah.
turns out, if you're like me and you want to get the best bang for your buck, you want to get the full spectrum, the one with a little bit of THC. It's not
Yeah.
going to show up on a drug test. Let's clarify that. It's not enough to
Mhm.
get you high. And if you were gonna drink an entire bottle, you'd have to drink, what is it, like 500? You'd probably get sick before you got that many to actually feel
Oh, yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
There's literally not enough THC in it to make anybody feel a certain type of way, but the small amounts of THC do make people feel.
Yeah.
So
It's
I
just because of like the receptors you have in your body. So your body is able to handle that much,
yeah,
the amount. Mhm.
no, I really enjoy stuff. Dell saying
Good.
hello. What's up, Dell? Y'all making me want nicotine now? Don't do it. Resist it. Get some CBD
Yeah, right.
instead.
Go get some hemp cigarettes is what they call them. Then you're just smoking pure CBD out of there.
Really, they have those?
Yep. You can get them from Wild Bill's.
I know they have hemp flower, like that looks
Yeah.
almost identical to to
I mean,
marijuana.
it pretty much is. I mean, it, all because it does have it in it. You know what I mean? Like actual marijuana does have CBD in it.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
but
So,
the hemp flower, like the CBD flower that you can go buy
oh,
from
yeah,
like a
yeah,
vape
yeah.
store
Yeah.
looks
Like
like
exactly like it. Yeah.
I mean, I I have a friend that sells some of it. He works at a vape shop and he sells some of it. And I was like, dude, I don't know if I'd even be comfortable driving around, even though it has no THC. It's perfectly
Yeah.
legal. I don't know if I could convince a cop
Right.
that's hey cop that this is not real THC.
Yeah.
This is oregano. Like
Yeah. Oregano, right. That'd
I
be cool if we could get away with that. No, I'm
oh
just joking.
yeah, I'm sure that excuse would go by extremely well in a traffic
Right.
situation. I'm not gonna play my cards like that. That's why I stuck to the oil. I think the oil is just fantastic.
Hmm.
Just
Yeah.
so
No,
damn
definitely.
expensive.
Yeah. Oh, it is. And I was actually just having a conversation with somebody about because she uses cannabis medically, and she uses the RSO, which is it's for pain and people that have cancer and things like that. And she was just saying like how even though people, there is this stigma, and she went to the doctor, right? And the doctor was like, okay, she had a herniated disc. And the doctor was like, okay, well, I can give you this, and this medication. But if you take RSO, you don't need these. The problem is that she's spending $500 a month on this RSO when these two medications will be covered by her insurance, but she's choosing to pay the $500 a month for this RSO because of and I totally get it.
And
Like
RSO
I
is the medical marijuana strand,
Yeah,
or
yeah. So what it is typically it comes in like a syringe. It sounds crazy. But typically what it comes in is a syringe just for safety. You know what I mean? It's easier to keep it in, and then you
right?
put it on something edible. So like a lot of people use like what are those? The fruit roll-ups or whatever. Those fruit roll-up things, you know what I'm talking
Really?
about?
Yeah.
Yeah. They'll put them on those and kind of wrap it up and then eat it. And then what it'll do is like that's the quickest way because edibles, I don't know if those are like the fastest, the quickest, and the most pain relieving things that you can take if they're higher. Um, and for cancer patients.
That's interesting
Um,
because I thought
yeah.
smoking was the quickest way. I thought if you
Well, I'm
ingest
sorry.
it,
Yeah, I'm sorry, not the quickest way. I'm saying the most
oh,
potent.
effective. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yes,
for
yes.
sure.
Yeah. Most effective, thank you, that was a better word to use. But yeah, so basically I wanted to bring that up because it's just proof that these things, this natural stuff, even including CBD, it's so good for your body and it's so natural. You can't overdose on it. And it's just sad that we have we can't get it covered.
Regulations.
Yeah,
It's
can't get
it's
it
it's
regulated.
stupid. Dell saying I could use some medical marijuana. I think we all could.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, in some way, shape, or form, whether you smoke it, eat it, rub it on your body, no judgment here. But I'm just saying
Oh,
I
I'm
just wish
I'm
it
all
was
for it. My
yeah.
brother is on. He's not on medical marijuana. He's on a medical grade CBD,
Oh yeah,
which oh my.
probably just higher potency.
Well, he was on 5, 6 plus medications, strong
Oh,
medications. My brother has he's been diagnosed with an intellectual disability with severe behavioral issues, and so these behavioral issues have been and a seizure disorder on top of that.
oh.
But to control
Hmm.
all of that, doctors have tried everything they could. Like they've given
Yeah.
him these psychotropic medicines, risperidone. They've given him lorazepam. They've given him what is he on now? Banzel, I think is a
Oh my
seizure
gosh.
medication. They've given him Depakote, which is like one of the last line defense seizure medications. He's on Felbutol, three of which interact very poorly with each other, but he's on them at the same time because they have to control his seizures
Yeah.
and some of his
Hmm.
behaviors.
That seizure medication, I swear. Oh.
Well, the good thing is we found a neurologist that luckily is
Hmm.
working with us to help get him on a good dose level of CBD oil.
Good.
The problem is the CBD, I think it interacts with the Depakote in an inverse way where his liver could be affected poorly if we don't control the two levels. So we're
Oh,
gradually
okay.
increasing one while decreasing the other, and we've
Yeah.
seen remarkable effects. Like
Oh,
my brother
so
used
good.
it really is to see
That's
how
so good.
amazing this stuff is. He is talking more. His
Oh,
eyes are a lot more open. Um, my my brother's just being a lot more active. Like my
it gives
mom
me the
says,
chills. That makes me so happy. Oh my
well, my
gosh.
mom says he's
Ugh.
like waking up, and I don't know if it's from the CBD oil itself. I don't have that
Or getting
information.
off of the other medication and kind of like
Yeah,
balancing it out.
I
Mm-hmm.
think that's really what it is. The other
Yeah.
medications were just so hardcore for him. And
Yeah,
so
it is a lot. It's a lot.
to pull him off that and wean him off of these just terrible, terrible side effects, and then give him CBD on top of that, which really helps with some of the nausea and some of the other things that are
Oh
associated with these
yeah.
medications. I think
Mm-hmm.
that it's the side effects that's really we're managing now, and it's
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, the godsend.
Wow, that's
Beautiful to
great.
watch
That's
him.
no, yeah, that's like the literally gives me so much chills because like I said, I used to work with kids that would had behavioral and I oh my gosh, like medication on medication with seizure medication and just I was like, "Oh my gosh, these poor kids are just pumped with medication and you wonder why they're acting like this." Like, you know what I mean? Or just not being able to help them more because, you know, you think you got it figured out and then, you know, the next day something terrible happens and you're like, "What? It's the medicine." It always like goes back to that somehow.
Well, it's like
Um,
this medication side effects cause this, so we're going to
yeah,
give
and
you
then you got
another
to do this.
medication
Yep.
because of those side effects.
Oh,
It's
we could
like
talk about this all night. I swear that. Yeah, that is. It's hard. It's hard to swallow that pill like that. You know what I mean? Like
no
seriously.
pun intended.
Yeah, right. Literally, like for real. That's the only thing I could think of. But yeah, I just because I don't, I personally, I mean, I know for different people, it's different circumstances, right? Like we can't just not take medication. For like I said, it just depends on what you have going on. But you know, I always try to encourage or recommend in any way possible that I can some sort of natural alternative, you
I
know, to like what if they can. I don't know if it's possible, you know, but I always say, you know, is there an herb? Because I don't take I used to take the fake thyroid medication and I haven't been on it for 2 years, but I take a ton of natural herbs. You know, like I take like 10 different pills a day, but they're all like natural herbs, nothing, it's all from the ground, it's all vegan capsules, you know what I mean? And I literally have never felt better in my life. You know what I mean? So it's like that's just me. I mean, I don't want to talk too much about myself, but that's just proof right there, you know, that like you can use other products.
I agree
But
with you.
but it takes time. So, you know, I had to wean off it and then fill it in with that and all that.
I'm not an anti-medication kind of guy. I think medications in specific situations, like seizures, for example,
Right,
you know,
definitely.
we
Hmm.
definitely, or somebody that can't control behaviors, you know,
Right. Yeah,
like my brother,
100%.
it's really hard for him to go through some of these behavioral therapies, or it's very hard for him to sit down with a therapist. So
Yeah.
I understand the usage of getting him with the behavioral medications and the psychotropic medications, able to sit down long enough to go through the therapies and then you can wean them off. So I
Yeah.
understand the
Yeah.
importance of medication, and I think that they're very good in certain situations. But
Definitely.
there's a big
Hmm.
caveat here. I think
Yeah, but right.
I think our bodies are incredible machines, and those of us that
100%.
have real like that those of us that have the cognitive ability to actually like push through and do some of these things. Now I'm not saying things like, you know, obviously if individuals have um like I said, a seizure disorder, like it's going to be hard to control that with just diet or exercise or herbs alone.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely.
So,
Definitely.
but those of
Mhm.
us that don't have more severe, like high blood pressure, one of the big
Right.
ones.
Diabetes.
Yes.
Yep,
Like one of the
for
big ones.
sure.
People are like, well, here's this pill for high blood pressure. No, just control your diet and go work out. Lose a little bit of
Mhm.
weight and work out. Make sure your heart is in good condition. Like
Right,
that's
right.
take care of yourself. And
Mhm.
so I think that we should be using that sort of approach and that sort of
Yeah.
education with
100%.
people all over the world. I mean,
Yeah, that's a good, what you just said is perfect. Like the education. Like if you had a doctor right now, like what you just said and how you said it, it would, I feel like things would just be so much better. Like, hey, this is what's going on, and these are the options that you have. These are some things that you should look at. You know what I mean? Even though we have this medical, I mean, it's hard. I know it's so easy for me to say this because like there's so many different kind of medical specialists here and there. You know what I mean? But if we could have that conversation, and just educate them on the availability of what's out there and the resources that we do have, because there is so much out there, but people just don't know it. And that's why that's so important. The education is like so key right now for
right.
people, especially with this kind of stuff.
Dell's saying we can
So,
also fight to take out a lot of unnecessary food or unnecessary
oh
crap out
yes,
of our food, like the sugar and preservatives. I'm in
yes,
total agreement. I have made the switch from all these processed sugars, and
yep,
it wasn't like I consciously did it. I wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna try and be healthy. I'm gonna just switch it out. I just naturally did it. I started like I don't even know why I started. I just literally stopped eating ice cream. I stopped drinking sodas.
yeah,
I don't even like soda that much. And my
me neither.
taste gradually changed to now where if I actually have a soda, it's like almost too sweet for me.
It's like gross.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's too
yeah.
sweet.
It,
I can't even eat
mm-hmm.
fried foods because the fried foods for me are just they make me feel
Yeah,
terrible. Like my
feel
body does
gross.
not like them at all.
Yeah, I get that too, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's the foods that we eat. Oh my gosh, that's a whole nother conversation, I swear.
Dell says I'm eating ice cream right now. I feel judged. You should, Dell. Go for
Just
a
wait,
run.
just wait. You're gonna feel like crap in like 30 minutes. No. Yeah.
My mom's saying in agreement with the whole. Dell says, "Check my snap. Do I want to check this on stream? Or are you sending me a picture of the ice cream
Oh,
bowl?"
said ice cream, right?
I haven't gotten
Yeah.
anything yet, buddy. I'm waiting.
Oh my gosh.
It's probably the ice cream bowl. I guarantee it.
See what kind of ice cream it is.
Mom's saying in agreement about the whole medication, switching your lifestyle. I mean, again, a
Yeah.
lot of our issues come from poor exercise and diet routine.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I think our bodies are incredible machines. Like you can
Oh, they are.
cut your hand and their hand will
And it
literally
heals.
heal.
Mm-hmm.
My mom cut off part of her thumb. I'm not even
And it
kidding you.
healed.
And
And
it
it healed.
healed. Our bodies are incredible.
Oh
If
my
you can
gosh,
heal
that's
from
not
that,
funny.
your body can
Holy
heal from high
cow.
blood pressure.
Yeah. No, I am like literally, and it's so crazy that you say that, because that's like one of the things that I tell people in meditation is like your body is the coolest, most incredible thing like ever. Like you literally as a human being, if you just embrace how cool it is to be a human, like you almost have life figured out.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like honestly.
Dell said the stuff added to food are addictive. It's not all about discipline.
Yeah, yep, because of the sugar and the pesticides. Oh, and a really interesting, disgusting fact for you guys. It's not that gross. It's surprising. Um, so in morgues, you know how they have to inject the bodies with certain oh, what do they call it? I know there's a word, somebody might know it, but basically to preserve the body, preservatives, right? So Americans, they are using 60 to 70% less preservatives in the morgue because we have so much in our bodies now.
What?
I swear to God.
That's
You can,
nasty.
it's disgusting. So ever since
So
I heard that,
if I die, I don't mean to interrupt you, but this is just
no,
this is
you're good.
weird. If I die, I not decompose as fast?
Yes, that's basically what they're saying, is that our bodies are taking like triple the amount of time to decompose because we have like so much preservatives in our body from the foods that we're eating. And like first of all, I was just like, okay, immediately lifestyle change, right? Like that's just so disgusting to me.
Would that not
So,
throw off like autopsy reports? Like if someone passed and the FBI was going
what?
back to look at the time of death,
Right.
would that not throw that off?
Right. That I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like that's a really good question. That's a really good question actually. Probably should research that.
That's gross.
Yeah, really gross. Really gross.
Oh
Yeah, and
man.
and the only reason that I actually knew that is because I knew somebody that happened to work in a morgue and they told me this. Like that's the only reason I know that. So, really, yeah.
That is gross. David even said that's gross.
Yeah. I mean, if that doesn't make you like really pay attention to the kind of things you're putting in your body and like looking at the labels and stuff, it is just, it's so, I even had a podcast episode about that, about talking how important it is, just take a couple extra 30 seconds to just skim over the nutrients and the facts and see what's in there. And you'll be stupid surprised at like how much is actually in our food. I mean, it's crazy.
Belle said, but this ice cream is so good.
You can, but you know what? Ice cream, luckily with ice cream, is that there's a lot of alternatives that taste just like it, luckily, that don't have too much in it.
Frozen yogurt.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Mm-hmm.
you remember when the frozen yogurt restaurants or the shops opened up? Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet Frog was one. Minchies.
Oh yeah.
You guys
Oh,
have a
I don't
Minchies near you?
no. We just have a like froyo. It's mostly called froyo around here.
Froyo. That's
Yeah.
another one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All the frozen yogurt chains. Oh my gosh, that
Yeah.
was a big crave for like
It
a year or
was.
two there. And then they slowly died out, and you never hear
Yeah.
anybody going to frozen yogurt shops anymore.
No, you don't. I actually was in like I remember being in Florida and going to one for the first time, and my aunt was like, "Yeah, these are starting to get really big." Obviously, you know how many years ago that was, but yeah, I remember that many years ago that was actually a cool thing to do is
I
go to
think
the,
I was
the
I was
frozen
addicted
yogurt
to
shop.
frozen yogurt. I really
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
This
My
was
daughter
before,
was.
this was before I didn't like I was totally into sweets. Like I was putting chocolate chips on top of my
Oh
frozen
yeah.
yogurt.
Oh yeah, like making like just like defeating the whole purpose of getting frozen yogurt.
Oh man, you know that diet sodas and diet drinks are actually worse than actual sodas?
Yeah, because they put that fake sugar in there.
Yeah, your body doesn't know how to react to the fake sugar,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like it releases insulin, but there's no sugar. So it's
Yeah.
like the insulin stays higher in your system, so it can lead to like a I don't know if it's type 1 or type 2 diabetes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I actually, when people talk about like, "Oh, I got to get my Diet Coke." Like no offense anyone, but like I got to get my Diet Coke from McDonald's or got to get my Diet Coke. And it's like but what they don't realize is that that's actually, like more addictive, I feel like in a way because of that stuff that's in it. You know what I'm saying? Because your body is almost kind of like in a sense craving whatever is coming from that Diet Coke, because I know more people that are addicted to diet than they are like regular. So I'm like, I don't understand that.
I never got the
Yeah.
whole I'm gonna get a Big Mac with fries, large fries, and a Diet Coke. 'Cause,
I know.
Just if you're gonna do it, get the Coke, man. Get the Coke.
I know. Oh my, or like that's what. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't
But yes.
get that. Like
No.
if I'm on a diet, so I'm gonna get the Diet Coke. No,
Yeah.
that's not how this works.
No,
Like, you can't just like, hey, I just got a Big Mac with a large fries and a Coke, but I just ate a banana. Okay, I'm healthy. You can't do that.
Right.
Oh my god,
God,
that irritates
know.
me when people do that. Like I know someone that does do that, and I'm like, ah.
Right. Right. Or they go they exercise for 5 minutes and then like go eat fast food and then expect to lose weight. I'm like, oh God, like you don't even understand.
That's
Like,
not how
you're
this works.
No, you're just putting it right back into your body.
Saying
Yeah.
cheeseburger. I think
Right.
that's how you spell that, burger. These ingredients are drugs and should be on Schedule 1 or remove marijuana. Yes, Dell's, aka Dell, remove marijuana as a Schedule 1 drug. Yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
Hmm.
I don't drink caffeine, so that eliminates a lot of the soda for me. I do drink caffeine.
Yeah. Oh, I do.
I do drink
Unfortunately.
caffeine. That's one of the things I am trying to kick.
I
I've switched over to tea.
Yeah, that's good because that's more of a natural caffeine, anyways. Well, I mean, coffee is, but tea is just not as potent.
Yeah, the tea leaves I think have more caffeine, but how it's brewed when the
Yeah,
water
that's what I
comes
mean.
out,
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
think the
A little bit
tea,
more filtered.
yeah, and the water in the tea is not as much, but
I don't know. Don't quote me on that one. Like I don't 100% know, but I do know that it's at least healthier for your system than
well,
drinking coffee.
coffee every once in a while is really good for your system. It acts
Black
as,
coffee, right?
yes, black, not with all the
Mhm.
sugar.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
because the sugar defeats
we've
the
been over
purpose,
this,
honestly.
chat. No
Yeah, right.
sugar.
That no sugar, zero sugars. No.
No ice cream, no sugar, no
Right,
nothing.
right.
If it has sugar, throw it. No, I'm not saying that, guys.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Get your sugar. Get your sugar. Just not every day. I
Yeah.
love sugar. We have these dark chocolate
From
things.
fruit.
Oh yeah, sugar fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, not juices. Don't do the sugar juices because they have
Yeah.
way too high. You can literally look at those. Sometimes they have equivalent to like a can of soda. Can of soda is
Oh yeah, I don't
ridiculous.
even yeah, I don't really drink juice anyway, so it's OJ. So
Yeah. Uh,
um yeah, I
the
forgot I was gonna say something. I forgot, but it's okay.
caffeine though, caffeine from coffee, drinking it every once in a while, black coffee, is really good for your system. Helps with your cardiovascular health. It helps with keeping food regulations. Like if you're feeling down, drink a little
Oh
bit of
yeah,
coffee.
I did hear that before. Mm-hmm.
It helps fight against Alzheimer's and dementia later on in life. It's really good. But the caveat to that is don't drink it every day.
Yeah, I know.
Because
Mm-hmm.
most people feel like when you drink coffee or caffeine in some form or another, that what it's doing is it's getting you to the optimal level. But what you're actually doing is if you have your normal baseline off coffee, when you drink coffee, occasionally you do increase your cognitive
Yeah.
ability. Like you're able to think a little bit faster, able to do. But if you drink it every day, it lowers this baseline. And so when you actually drink it, you only go up to what your previous baseline was. I hope that makes sense. So like
Yeah, yeah.
coffee when you drink it every day lowers your baseline, so you have to drink it to function. So when you do drink it every day, you only go back up to baseline. You don't get that actual maximum over the top.
Yeah,
That's
totally makes sense. Like your threshold, kind of the same thing with like when you start to take like certain drugs or people who take drugs, like you'll get to a point where you just have to do more and more and more and more.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. No,
Caffeine.
yeah, that makes complete sense because I do it that way. Like I don't drink coffee every day, but when I do, like I do it's okay. Like I don't feel overwhelmed. I don't feel too like, oh my gosh, this is too much. So I mean like I feel like I genuinely have that pretty under control, but it's still hard to not want that one, you know what I mean, every morning.
Caffeine was
So,
making me sleepy there for a while. Like I was a big
yeah.
coffee addict. I
Yeah.
loved coffee. But then like I was almost more awake before I drank the caffeine, and then it
Yep.
would make me sleepy, and I was like, this doesn't make sense. Like I don't
Yeah.
want this. So
Mhm.
I stopped. I had to cut back, switch over to tea, but
Yeah.
man, it
Chai
was
tea is
not
my
an easy.
favorite.
Chai
Chai tea is
tea?
my mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I try not to drink, like I said, like too much of it, but that's like I think my favorite tea for sure.
Well, honestly, I was having so much issues with sleeping at night. That's another reason why I had to switch. And another reason why I
Oh
got the
yeah,
CBD, because the
yeah.
CBD was really freaking good at helping me just cock
Pass
out.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, just oh,
Yeah, see, and so my gosh, I love that's what was my problem for the longest time is like I would just lay there and be so, antsy and stuff. And I know I had to do with the caffeine too, but the CBD, oh my gosh, like definitely helps me
absolutely.
relax to the max.
Daydreams food shames people.
Food, no food shaming, just be
No
healthy.
food shaming. I'm just messing with you. Health. I take shots of high fructose corn syrup. Beautiful. Just
Oh, yikes. Is
syrup
that
running through
good?
your brains. Your vein, not brain, but I guess
What
it's
does that
equivalent.
do for you?
I think equivalent to caffeine. Caffeine makes brain go burr. I love it. I miss green tea. Absolutely. No, green tea is fantastic.
Yeah,
Um,
green tea's good.
uh, so I kind of wanted to ask you a couple questions about sleep and dreams. I just say stuff to get Dylan fired up. Yeah, totally. I still haven't gotten your Snapdale, so if you haven't sent it already, should do that.
He was
But
too worried about eating the ice cream.
I know he was just ah. But sleep. How do you help people get to sleep? How do you help people stay to sleep? Is there certain strategies that people should be using? Like, because I have the main reason, the main reason I bought CBD oil was because I had the worst time.
Mm-hmm. What do you usually do before you go to sleep? I always ask people that. That's the first question. You're laughing, so you must be doing something active, huh?
Oh, it's very active. I play high, fast rate battle royale, Apex, Battle Legend. I do. I play Apex, which is a battle royale, and it's probably the worst thing I could do before I go to sleep, because not only am I staring at a blue light screen, but I'm also getting my adrenaline pumping right before 100%. Bed. So my body is like,
is this something you choose to do before you go to sleep, or is this like something you've signed yourself up for and
something
you
have to do? I have to stay good at this game.
Right. That's why I'm like, is this like a have to thing, right?
Well, honestly, I don't play video games much during the day. I don't know. It's just my body. I don't care. It's boring. I don't play.
You don't
games
have to explain to me. I'm not a big video gamer, so.
it's yes, Del. It's a choice.
It's a choice. It's a choice.
It's my personalized time, right? And it's the time where all my friends get on, and all my friends are. It's a social setting. Like my brother-in-law gets on, Del gets on sometimes, when he wants to, when he's feeling generous, wants to grace us with his presence. But it's that me time that I get to spend with me and some of my friends that we wouldn't otherwise get to spend because we're all working and it's a busy day.
Definitely.
So I've kind of backed myself in a corner.
Do you typically do you just go right to bed after that? Like, is it kind of just like I'm done and I'm ready to go to bed?
Yeah, I get off, I shut the games off, turn the lights off. Depending on what time it is, I might go grab something to eat. I might walk the dogs real quick, just so we don't have to let them out super early in the morning. Usually we get off around 1:30, I think. Around those times. So.
No, you're fine. Like, I stay up super late, so I was just thinking, because the two things I always suggested, I had like all my fingers up. The two things that I always suggest to people, because it's very, very, very typical for a lot of people to video game before they go to sleep. First of all, it's like, I don't even know where it is in the industry, but it's making millions of dollars. So I know a lot of people do it. I get it.
All the houses that we've gone to, that have been, all the houses we've gone to see when we were doing this house search, every house has a gaming setup. Every house we have seen.
I believe it. I totally believe it. But because this is so common, I usually just tell people, if you can take 5 minutes, I know this seems so short and probably not even enough time. If this is something that you like to do, either take 5 minutes and literally have your favorite, do you like any kind of Zen music?
Yeah, I mean,
kind of just not kind of almost, it's more natural, you know what I'm saying, the nature sounds, or kind of drums or something like that. I don't know.
Well, my wife, she, bless her, she plays. I've had to get used to it at this point, but she's got a night routine, okay? And so at nighttime, she has an Alexa, and she tells Alexa to play rain sounds.
Yeah, I get it.
Rain sounds,
not good for you.
I've gotten used to it, but
not for you.
When she's, I hate the rain sounds, because I like quiet when I'm trying to sleep. I don't like.
Okay, that's what I was just gonna
ask
you. I was just gonna ask you that, because if that's not your thing, I was gonna say, or it's complete silence, and then do you like lighting or anything? Or do you like it to be pitch black?
It needs to be pitch black for me.
And does your wife like it like that?
Yeah, she does love it pitch black. So
Okay,
we at
good.
least agree on that.
Okay, good, good. Because I was gonna say then make sure your room's pitch black because I always tell that's how I got myself because I had to literally like make it just dark, like super dark. And then I mean, okay, so the music thing, and then taking, and then oh, I don't know if this is even a possibility for you if you're interested. I always tell people to take like a bath or a shower for 5 minutes. And I know, like I said, this seems doesn't seem long enough, but if you actually like, okay, so take your CBD, right? Like 30 minutes before you think you're gonna go to sleep, even if you're on your game. And I'm just doing this with you because you're asking, like you personally.
Of
Like,
course.
let's say, right? So you get off your game at
This is a
typically,
personalized therapy session.
yeah,
Everybody
right.
else, sit back.
You're right. Just sit back and relax. No, so you typically go to sleep between, or you get off at 1:30, right? Is what you said, or you go to
Sometimes,
sleep.
yeah. No, well, I
Okay.
get off at 1:30, and then yeah, it's pretty much get off at 1:30, and then I'm pretty much in bed trying to go to sleep. Everything done by 2.
Okay. So you have a little bit of time to like wind down before you actually
Yeah.
go to sleep. Okay, so that's really, I mean, I know this might seem super obvious and you're probably like, okay, I've already done those things. But my thing is always if you have the hardest time doing nothing before you go to sleep, practice doing absolutely nothing before you go to sleep within that last like 15 like 5 to 15 minutes before you're actually going to like lay down in your bed.
That's fair.
And like
Okay.
yeah, so like if you choose not to take a shower, like okay, I don't, you know what I mean? Like that's not my thing either. But if you actually like just okay, you don't want to walk your dog, you go in your room and you're like, all right, I plan on, going to sleep at 2 a.m. So then even if you don't want to lay down, maybe get some sort of like book, or maybe you have something that you research or anything that you're interested in, and don't give it too much thought, but just kind of like graze over it. You know what I mean? And like sit there and kind of graze over it and relax yourself. Um, or if you literally don't want to do anything, then just sit there for like 5 minutes and then lay yourself down and then try to go to sleep. So, like I said, I know that seems like super basic, but like when you actually just do nothing, I know the reading doesn't really count, but sometimes people can't just do nothing to put themselves to sleep. But just like don't, even if the thoughts are coming in, you know what I mean, you might think about this, you might be thinking about that thought, just kind of just like let it come in, you know what I mean, just like let those thoughts go through your body's just kind of going back on what you did for the day, you know what I mean, your body is just releasing what it needs to release. And then you can kind of, like I said, hopefully get to that point where you don't need to think and you can kind of just rest.
How
So
how I know I am not going to get to sleep one night is it depends on what thoughts I'm having.
yeah.
So if I'm having thoughts and recollection of like past events or what I need to do list, and it's not anxiety triggering, but it's just like the thoughts are there and my brain feels energized. I know I'm
Yeah.
not going to sleep anytime soon.
Mhm.
But there's a level of thinking that it's almost as though I'm not thinking about it. It's like my brain is creating images, and this is the weirdest thing to explain. If
I
it
probably
doesn't
won't think it's
happen,
weird.
well, if it hasn't happened to anybody else, it's the hardest thing to explain. Um, like if I close my eyes and I just kind of let the mental images play, and the mental images are not images that I've seen in that past day. They're not um uh they're not like memories, those kind
Mhm.
of images, but they're
Yeah.
like creative images where it's just things just spawning out of thin air. If that's happening, that's like the precursor to me going to sleep.
Okay.
That's how I know I'm about to go to sleep, because if that's happening consistently over like a couple minutes or so, I know I'm about to go to sleep. But if I am like that's not happening, I
Mhm.
know that, oh well, good luck. It's gonna be a
Yeah.
long night.
So you're saying like before you go to sleep, like what is like what how do you feel? Like what is your mind doing? Is it racing every time? Or is it, you know what I mean? Because you said you do the game like before you go to sleep. So do
Yeah,
you feel that way? Do you feel like your mind is constantly racing before you go to sleep, or is it just hit or miss?
not with the CBD oil anymore. Off the
Okay.
CBD oil, maybe sometimes.
Yeah.
It is more of a hit or miss, but with the CBD oil, it's been pretty stable. I
Okay.
honestly, I take that stuff. Even I take it like while I'm gaming, so it has
Mhm.
enough time. And once I'm off, I'm like, I can
Yeah,
feel
so
it as
you
I'm gaming, and I'm like, oh, dude, I'm done,
yeah.
done.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good because I was going to suggest that anyway because a lot of the time with people who are taking CBD, I always say at least take it like an hour to 30 minutes before you're going to go to sleep because then by the time you are going to go to sleep, your body is naturally wanting to just rest anyways.
Oh man,
Yeah. And then, like another thing, like you and I would have to talk more because I have to know like what you really like to do every day. You know what I mean? What makes you spark? You know what I'm saying? Because there could be something, that you just complete relaxation for you that I'd be like, oh, this is it. You know what I mean? I would have to really like talk to you and get to know you on like a real personal level. Not that we don't kind of know each other now, but just really dive deep into like what goes on in here
yeah.
when, on a daily basis, because sometimes our daily life affects our sleep. So I mean, obviously, but I'm just saying like our actions and our behaviors and how we tense up and don't tense up, or how we use our stress,
Yeah,
our fight
as
or
long as
flight.
the stress isn't, as long as an event isn't too stressfully impactful,
Yeah.
I'm pretty aloof with most things, so I can
Yeah.
pretty easily emotionally detach and
And just
just
kind of move on.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it has to be something that really bugs me, and
Definitely.
most things
Definitely.
don't. But that's not to say I still don't have thoughts that race through my head. Like it's like it.
Oh,
Like
we
I
all
said,
do.
it's
Yeah.
not anxiety provoking. It's not stress inducing.
No, it just, yeah, you
It's
think
just
about it.
yeah. I'm like,
Mhm.
oh shoot, I got to do this. I got to do that.
Yeah.
What can I do with this?
Yeah.
That seems like a good idea. And I just kind of play with my mind like while I'm trying to go to sleep. But then that is kind of productive. So
Yeah, sometimes and like I said, for some people it's easier. What I've learned in meditation specifically, I'm so sorry, my phone keeps
yeah, you're
going off.
fine.
What I've learned in see, look at now my watch is going off. What I've learned, what's really special about the meditation that I've teach people is that over time, this is so hard to do. I'm not saying that anybody can do this at the snap of a finger, is knowing that when our thoughts are like coming through us, right? Not everybody's gonna believe this. When our thoughts are like coming through us and like flowing through us, it's just a part of like being a human, right? Like we're gonna feel that, we're gonna think this, we're gonna possibly think about hurting this person or not hurt. You know what I mean? Just all kinds of different things, that thoughts that go through our head on a daily basis. And in this instinctual like meditation, you kind of just like grab onto them and you think about it, and then you're like, okay, is this worth it? No. You know what I mean? And then you kind of like, then something else comes, and then it's either gonna it might you might feel it in your body. You know what I mean? Like something that comes up and you're like, oh, this is like in my back, or oh, this is kind of, oh, I can't really like breathe that good, like talking about this. And that's what I've really learned with people, is they start to find like where they're tense at in their body, or where they're holding like these thoughts that they need to kind of let go of. And I just say, embrace it at first and see where you're feeling it all, and then we can figure out how to kind of like let all that go and kind of be able to, because your body is so amazing, it's going to tell you what it needs. So I hope that that's like in some way a little bit helpful,
I mean,
with the whole
absolutely. No,
thoughts. So
I have a comment on meditation in just a second. I just want to kind of get to some of these comments real quick. YouTube has some great music options. I've been recently using binaural beats. Binaural beats are
oh,
awesome.
perfect. Yeah, those are perfect.
My mom says great guest and podcast.
Oh,
David says I like white
thank
noise while
you.
I sleep. Hate white noise and pitch
Oh,
black.
I see. I have to have like a fan. Fake white noise freaks me out.
No, I hate fans. I hate everything. I need to be pitch black,
No, I mean, I'm
silent.
not necessarily say I've gotten over. It's funny that you say that, because my fiance kicked me of that habit because he hated it that much. He hated it that much. So we don't have a fan, but like I love the sound of fans though.
I
But
get it.
the fake white noise, it's too like, it just sounds too like, sorry, that was probably disgusting. Sounds like too motory. You know what I mean?
I listen. I get it, and I've gotten used to the rain sounds. but I'm afraid
Yeah.
that we've conditioned ourselves because now every time it rains, I get tired. So it's like we've conditioned ourselves that, when
That's
we hear the
funny.
rain sounds, it's time to go to sleep. And now when it actually rains, it's
You
like, oh, well, time for a
right.
nap.
You guys are driving, you're like, "Oh, man, I'm tired,"
Yeah,
right?
it honestly gets like that. It's kind of bad. I'm like, Nikki, we got to change the sounds. Like,
That's so funny.
oh, man. Joseph saying, what's up, Joseph? Haven't seen you in a minute. Well, technically, I saw you last night. So, um,
Technically.
I use a podcast called Sleep With Me. What's that about? Did they like guide you into sleep? Because I know there's
Never
some
heard of
like
that.
there's a app called Headspace that kind of guides you with
Yeah.
meditation. It's a
Yeah, I've
really good
definitely
app.
heard of that. Mhm.
When you hit 30, that will be done. Not being able to, I hope so. Hope I can go to sleep like on time. Have Nikki get an iron pan, a cast iron pan. Tried in 2 method, my man. Right,
Mhm.
just smack me asleep, right, Josh? Good to see you, man. Hope
I
your
wish it was that easy.
hope your wrist, while you're typing, is good. Um, I fall asleep pretty well. I've always had to get up and pee though, so that's annoying. Yeah, that's my worst habit is getting
Uh,
up and peeing in the middle of the night, um,
mhm.
5 or 6 times. My neck was killing me last night. I didn't get any sleep. Headspace is really cool. Speaking of headspace and meditation, I've done a sensory deprivation. That's absolutely.
Oh, really? I've never done one of those before.
You
I've
on
heard good things.
honestly, you of all people should go do
I
a
need to
sensory
do
med.
I need to
Yes,
do it, huh?
yes. And when you do, you gotta call me and you gotta tell me what it was like because
Oh, definitely.
it's this surreal experience. Of nobody's ever done it. I highly recommend. Think everybody should go experience it once or
Yeah.
twice. But basically, you're in this tank. You're floating in water that's dense enough to keep you
Mhm.
afloat. The water is your body temperature, so after like 5 minutes, you don't feel anything. There's no sound, and it's pitch dark. Your
Oh my
smell becomes
gosh.
habitualized, so you don't really can't smell anything, and your brain starts to go into this meditative state where you're like, hmm, that those thoughts coming in, and they're passing
Yeah.
by, and it's
Yeah.
like, man, that lady
Yeah.
was a bit today, like.
See, and that's it. See, and what you were just saying, like that is exactly what, like without getting in that tub, that's how I try to get people without doing that. Like that's like what you're explaining is exactly what I try to get people to. Is like that point where it's just like what you're just doing, like you know what I mean? Like it's just kind of like going like this, like little noodles in your head, like oh out to here, like out here,
That is one
So
thing I have discovered is it is incredibly hard to actually cancel your thoughts or just silence your thoughts.
yeah, you can't do that. That's impossible. I don't care what anybody says. You cannot do that. Like you can't. You just can't do it.
Like
No
even
way.
even when I'm so like in the shower, like sometimes I use that as like meditation because I'm like, all right, well
100%.
I got nothing else to
Mhm.
do in here.
Right, like let's just relax and right, like zen out, right.
So I sit there and like, one of the struggles is like when you're thinking about meditating and you're thinking about, that verbal voice that comes in your head that you're like,
Yeah.
I'm doing a good job. I'm like, I'm doing a good job. Just focus on
Right.
your breathing. And yeah, that verbal voice is still in your head, but you're like, dang it. Like I'm still
Yeah.
thinking, like technically I'm
Right.
still thinking about
Yeah.
talking. And it's like, oh man, trying to actually
Yeah.
like just silence yourself and just focus on one thing is incredibly difficult.
Yeah, and like I said, it kind of just is when you get like you were just explaining in that tub, and you were saying you're kind of like the thoughts are just more so of a flow than it is a like a blockage, I guess you
Yeah.
could call it, because it kind of stops you, like it stops what you're doing. But you can, I feel like there is, or I know there is because I do it, but you just find ways to kind of just let those things come in and out, you know what I mean? Like I call it like the infinity sign, and I do it like this, like it kind of just flows, you know what I mean? We come in and out and go through, and we have our ears, nose, eyes, mouth, things come in, out, we see things. um but it's just when we just embrace all those little things, and the thoughts are just one part of who we are as a human, so that's just one thing we got to learn to embrace, and it's also one thing we have to learn to like utilize to our best ability. So yeah, I don't know, that's the best way I can
David
explain
said,
it
"Me
to
alone
remind
with
me.
my thoughts. Nah, I'm good."
Yeah, but you know what the thing is you that's good to it's good and bad to say that, because when you say that, it means that you need to spend more time in your thoughts. If you do say that, just an FYI.
Yeah, there you go, David. The 1-2 for you. I
Just
am
some, yeah,
well.
recommended wise words.
What's interesting is meditation. I taught this intro to sight class at
Oh,
Gwinnett
nice.
Tech just a couple months ago, or a couple weeks, I guess. I'm losing track of time with everything that's going on. But
I don't, you're good.
one of the topics in the class was actually meditation. Like, that's how important it's becoming. And
Oh,
a lot of
wow.
the research has found, I mean, within the book has found that people that do guided meditation perform higher on cognitive tasks later on. And
Yeah.
so
Hmm.
it's like, well, I mean, why would you not want to do meditation? Like, why would you not want to do these mindfulness? Your brain operates in different modes, right? Your brain
Right.
operates in different
Exactly.
brain waves. I think
Hmm.
alpha is for focusing, beta is for creative thoughts, and then
Yeah.
delta is for like going to sleep or something like that.
I think that sounds right. Hmm.
I'm not specific. Don't quote me on that. But there, you have
That
different brain
sounds right.
states for
Yeah.
different activities
Hmm.
that you're going through. But they
Yeah.
found that the gamma state, it's another a wave that's like separated um, from the rest.
Yeah.
Really found in people that meditate like pretty much religiously, like monks do. So they took brain scans of monks that are well practiced and well versed in meditation, and they basically were like, they took brain scans and found that their brain does operate in a different way. They can enter this wavelength a lot quicker than a lot of us can. And
Hmm.
so it's really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I think another like another thing to like note too is that we're in this stage now where we're all figuring out what meditation is. You know what I mean? Like we're learning what it is, and like you just said, it's becoming a part of education, within psychology and psychiatry and therapy and all those healthcare, like mental health and stuff like that. But the other thing is that a lot of people are so unfamiliar, well, because they're so unfamiliar with it, that they don't know which one is right or wrong for them. You know what I mean? Like, for example, with the Buddhist monks, right? What's right for them is block out all your thoughts, like, not to be inappropriate, no sex, no thought about sex, no drugs, no thought about drugs, like separate yourself from your life. Like you have to be isolated, basically go through homelessness to come, you know what I mean? Just all these things as far as
No
like the
worldly wants or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. So you have that type of meditation, and then you have guided meditation, and then you have thought provoke or not thought provoking imagery, like image meditation, where you have to imagine, put yourself in those. And there's like hypnotherapy, and that's considered a part of meditation. But then there's also like what I'm doing is this instinctual meditation. I can't explain it in words because you have to experience it to kind of know, the whole process. But like I said, to going back on what I said, because people don't really know how to approach meditation or which ways to do it, people are still leery and don't really do it. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
because they try the guided meditation, or they try the whole mantra, and they try the, to be quiet and do nothing, or, just the kind of some things I listed off. But it just depends on really what works for you, and you have to take the time to find it. It's not just gonna it's kind of like practicing, like when you work out, like over time you kind of just figure out what works for you and what doesn't, right? Like what muscles work, you want to work out, and you can focus on those parts. It's kind of the same thing with meditation. So you sit there and you figure out, sometimes you have to focus on where you're, like I was telling before, if you have pain areas, or you have an addiction or something, okay, where is that really coming from? When you sit and you just kind of think, and you feel what's going on with yourself. So
Well, imagine if we gave kids mindfulness training instead of medication for like Adderall and
yeah.
like, imagine the difference we could make in education if we were just like, hey, we know you're a kid. We
I'm
know
much on
you're
that later.
hyper.
Yeah.
You know, we know that you have um you have social needs that you're trying to meet, you know. But you know what? Let's just work on meditation. We need to be mindful. You know, let's work
Yeah.
on these mindfulness trainings. What
Mhm.
if that was a thing instead of medication? Like, holy crap.
Yeah, and that would be awesome. And it's just there has to be enough of us, to be able to push that for people to be more open to it.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it's the education piece again. It goes back on the education. Like how educated are people on mindfulness? Like you have so many people saying different things about what it is or what it means to be mindful. So that could be a whole other thing.
Have you heard
Trying
of the
to
flow state?
yeah.
What are your thoughts on
That
that?
Um, I think everybody has a different way of explaining what that means to them. But what I would explain, Katee personally would explain a flow state is when you go on a day-to-day basis. So I'll just bring a day, for example, like I'll just explain a whole day for somebody. So you wake up, right? And let's say you go to do your makeup, everything is going good, you put makeup on, then you slash and you get mascara all over your forehead and your eyebrow, and you gotta, scrub it out and do whatever. And you get a little bit irritated, okay? Like you don't let it carry on too much. But then you go and cook breakfast and you burn your toast, and then you're just like, all right, F it. Like I'm pissed off. You know what I mean? Like that's just a small example. But basically what the flow state is so you go and you do that and you do the mascara, you're kind of like, oh, whoops, like that's just how it's going, you know what I mean? And then you go in the kitchen and you burn your toast, you're like, well, at least I have burnt toast and no toast, like, you know what I'm saying? And it's just kind of like that whole, well, like I know my life, and something bad happens, and I'm not saying that you're gonna just be like, oh, that's fine, but you're going to react to it differently. You're not going to have the same reactions that you would as if you weren't in that flow state. You would, you get more tense, you get more angry, you get more anxious, you get just all these other feelings, but the flow state is just, it's being natural. So that's what I would say.
Interesting. I play a lot of music.
Mhm.
And recently I've just been trying to do a lot of this is kind of how I so remember how I talked earlier about how I let the mental images go through my brain.
Yeah.
It's like right before I go to sleep, like that's how I know I'm about to go to sleep.
Yeah.
It's whatever mental images that are playing, and that's for me, it's almost like a flow state. It's like whatever's flowing through my mind, like it's coming naturally, it's coming easily. I don't have to think
Yeah.
about it, I don't have to do anything, it's just happening. That's kind of the same process when I try to like play around or improv with music. Like I don't
Yeah.
have to think about it. I mean, I'm not
It's natural for you.
yeah, I'm not
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not super good to where I can just enter the flow state every time I play. Like it's definitely hard. Like when I'm trying to come up
Mhm.
with something new or trying to, play a new piece or something like that. But,
Mhm.
there will have been moments, especially when I've been playing video games, where
Yeah.
the challenge has met the excitement, and those two have kind of like met together, and so
Yeah.
I've been in this flow state. This game called Apex is a battle royale. You've heard of Fortnite, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's a
Mhm.
version of Fortnite, but like a more
Okay.
adult version, less
Yeah.
cartoony. But in the game I'm going through, and it's the challenge of surviving in the game and challenge of you know beating another team, doing all this constant action coming
Yeah.
back and forth. The flow of things has met the excitement, or the challenge has met the excitement, so I've kind of converged the two into a flow. And
Yeah.
so at this point I'm like, I can just keep going, and I don't have to think about the decisions I'm making. I'm just making the right decisions. It's so weird to explain.
No, you're not. It's not what you're explaining in those moments is what I call meditation. I call it meditation. You're actually, because you're in that flow state, you're in that natural, like that's how that's really how we're supposed to function. Like how you just explained was how we're really supposed to be doing things. Like you're not really supposed to be sitting there thinking like, oh, do I make this decision? You go, like you just do. You know what I mean? And it just kind of that when you're making music, you know, you might have those moments where you're blocked, it's just not time to do it yet. But then when you're in it and you go and you're like, and then you're just all in, and then there's your flow state. So yeah, I mean, it's, I don't think I personally know exactly what you're talking about because I've gotten lost in several circumstances where I felt that way, almost like outer body in a way,
Yeah.
because because you're literally, you reflect back and you're like, I literally didn't have to like think about that at all, almost like I just did it and it was amazing. You know what I mean? So I get that for sure. And I think um what you're explaining is definitely a flow state. I mean, that's what it seems to me that you're doing.
Well,
So
I really like. My question is, how do you enter that more often? Because it would be really nice if I could just constantly just play the game and be in flow state and know exactly what to do, when to do it, and how to do it.
yeah,
Like,
I'm
just master it, basically. I feel like that would be
yeah.
just an amazing
Well,
tool.
so the first thing that I always one of the other things I do is ask people to write down like five, depending on how many you can list, I say to write down like 5 to 10 things that genuinely you love and make you happy. And I don't just mean like people, places, or things, but just like if you can off the top of your head and I ask you, what's the first 5 to 10 things that you love or you love to do? And then you take those things and you find ways to implement yourself into those things on a daily basis. So you're creating this habit of getting into that state every day. I don't know if that makes any sense.
It does.
So when you're, so if you love music, I'm just going to use that as an example because I'm sure you have more things that you love to do. When you're in that state and you feel you're feeling that, so then the next time that you're in that state, feel it, you know what I mean, kind of just like recognize it, and then when you go to do something else that you know that you can indulge yourself in, kind of recognize it well and then see how it changes when you're in those moments, because it'll eventually, you'll start to recognize what you're doing and how your body's feeling, and then you'll know how to do it continuously. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it
Okay.
does. Makes a
Okay.
lot of sense.
Okay. I was like, I hope I'm explaining. That just kind of came out. Sometimes things just come out of me when
You were
people, so I
in the
hope.
flow state.
Yeah, I was. I literally was just then. Like, I was like, this is all coming out and it feels good. So this is what I'm going to say. So yeah.
That's
Hmm.
perfect. Well, thank you,
Yeah.
Miss Katee. We are at
You're welcome.
hour 10 minutes. Dang, we're
I know.
killing
I
it.
was like, I wasn't even like paying attention. My freaking phone's going off so
We were
much.
in the flow state the entire time of the
Yeah,
podcast.
you were.
Well, thank you, Miss
Yeah.
Katee. Thank you,
You're
everybody, for
welcome.
coming out tonight. I appreciate everybody. This has been Daydreams with Miss Katee.
Yes.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Make sure you go follow her Facebook page.
Yeah, you can do. I actually know it this time. It's just the slash KT talk show. That's where you can get like my podcast, and that's
So
where I talk a lot about my spiritual stuff. So if you want to, know more about me on there,
KT spelled the same way in the
or
podcast title with two
just
e's.
just KT. So
Oh, the
K and
letter
T.
K and T.
Yep, KT, and then KT talk show. Yep.
KT with talk show. There
Yeah,
you
I'll
go.
send it to you.
Perfect. Well, I just put it in chat.
Yeah, but I'm actually officially going to be doing more of everything's going to be like video, and I'll be doing more stuff on Instagram as well, so I'll
I,
get
I
that
need to
stuff
get on
too.
the TikTok grind. That's probably what I'm
Oh my
I need to
gosh.
start doing that.
I have been doing TikTok, but it's just like sometimes the videos, you want to make them so cool, like stand out. And sometimes I'm just not good enough to like come up
Well,
with
I
some
just need to take
stuff.
the episodes here, condense it down to like 1 minute, and then throw it on TikTok. That's really what I
Hey,
need to
that's a
do.
great idea. That's a great idea. There
That's
you go.
honestly, I have tons of Instagram clips where I can take, and some of them are above a minute, but I can just take them and split them into two parts and then upload them. So
Yeah,
I'll
that's a
probably end up
perfect
doing
idea.
that.
There you go.
So, all right,
All
everybody.
right. Thank you.
Thank you for coming out tonight, Miss Katee. I'll keep you over here.
Okay.
Everybody, take it easy. I hope everybody has a great night. I will see you guys next week. Thanks for daydreaming. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Oh, David said loved hanging out. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Down with the emotes. Bye, guys.